Hi YouTube, Angela Fair here. I'm excited to be turning my channel over today to a fellow watercolor artist and YouTube channel owner, and that is Steve Mitchell of The Mind of Watercolor. Steve is not just a contemporary of mine in painting in watercolor and sharing what he knows on YouTube very generously, but he has his own way of teaching that is very inspiring. And of course, when we learn from many other artists, it can really benefit us as we take all these different techniques and approaches and apply them in our own way to our own paintings. So as you're following along with Steve's tutorial today, I hope you'll not just enjoy the video that he's presenting here on my channel, but you will check him out on The Mind of Watercolor. And one reason you're going to want to do that is because I'm presenting one of my favorite techniques over on Steve's channel. We've done this whole channel swap, and I hope you'll check us both out today, and maybe you'll learn something new. I know for me, I do have a couple takeaways I'm going to share after Steve's video wraps up. So take it away, Steve.
Hey Angela, and hello to all you Angela Fair viewers. So excited to be here. My name is Steve Mitchell. I have a YouTube channel called The Mind of Watercolor, and Angela asked if I would come be a guest on her channel. So here I am. You know, one of the questions I get a lot is, what colors should I start with, Steve? And I've been really hesitant to answer that question because that is a very personal choice. And of course, it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to be able to mix any color, you would start with primaries. But I'm going to answer the question a little differently. I have two colors that I consider my indispensable colors. They are not necessarily my favorite colors, but I wouldn't want to be painting without them. And actually, they're not all that colorful at all. They're very gray. So let's go to the board. I'll show you what they are, and we'll do a little demo. If I were asked to pick two colors that I couldn't do without, or I could only paint with two colors, these would be my choice: sepia and Payne's gray. Just, to me, they're just very indispensable colors. Let's take a look at each one individually. Both are very neutral. Sepia is very brown or warm. Payne's gray is a very cold, cool, steely blue gray. And both colors just give you a nice choice for painting in values rather than color. If you paint shadows, if you paint flesh tones, if you paint, any kind of darks, they're just great colors. If you're going to paint monochromatically, either one is a decent choice by itself. So either color works great if you want to paint and do some monochromatic rendering. But they also work great together. And interestingly enough, when you blend them, you blend them in pretty equal amounts, you get a very neutral gray, as if you had thinned down black. And speaking of black, they actually mix together to produce a nice black. A couple other features. I'm an M-Gram user. That's the brand of paint I use. And in their formulations, these are semi-transparent, which I love. I stick mainly to transparent or semi-transparent hues. There are four categories: transparent, semi-transparent, semi-opaque, and opaque. And I don't use semi-opaque or opaque very often, if at all, because I do a lot of glazing and layering. So as a habit, I just stay away from them. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just a different style of painting. And since I do so much transparent glazing, I like to stick to the transparent colors. Now, Payne's gray and sepia in some brands, some formulations, are actually semi-opaque. But in the M-Gram brand, they are semi-transparent, and I like that. So if you're painting monochromatically and you want to use them both, which I think is a great way to go, because it gives you a little more dimension than painting with one of them. A lot of times we'll use sepia for the highlights and the warm side, and obviously Payne's gray for the cool side. Let's say you had a leaf. I'm gonna freehand a little leaf here. And maybe one side of that leaf is in shadow. Let's give you an idea. You got a very nice two-tone look. Another thing you can do when painting with it is if you've done some sort of painting in sepia or background tones, you can do them in Payne's Gray. In color theory, warm colors come forward and cool colors recede. It's called aerial perspective. So that's another plus of using these for monochromatic painting. Another thing I've done is when rendering faces, a lot of times I will render the face, and this is going to be almost a cartoony face, so bear with me here. I'll render the face in sepia tones. Maybe the hair, and then background and clothing elements in Payne's Gray. You can't even go back into the portrait and in the deep shadow areas add some of the Payne's Gray. Again, get some nice color dimension. And where that cool and warm kind of joins, it's just a very pleasing look. And as you add more colors, sepia, for instance, it combines very well with the warmer colors. You just get a nice complement that will tone down your brighter colors where you need it. Let's try it with Payne's Gray. But they're very complementary to most all of the colors. I think this is a cobalt blue. Obviously, Payne's Gray is going to mix very well with that, but what about sepia? Let me get some sepia on there. Really nice transition from blue to blue-gray to a warmer color. So you can just make some absolutely gorgeous grays by combining with other colors as you build your palette. I love monochromatic painting, especially for beginners. Not that you shouldn't paint with color. I'm not saying all beginners should start this way. But if you're having trouble separating things like value, brush skills, application techniques, you're wet and wet, if you're having trouble separating that from color choices, and color choices just adds one more decision to the process, monochromatic painting is just a great way to go. And if you're like some of my viewers who have said, Steve, I want to buy 2-3 colors at the most, what should I buy? This is something that you consider. Okay, so let's have a little fun with this. This is a bird journal I started a while back, and a few videos ago I did this ink and wash video. So what I'm going to do is in this journal I'm just going to add a little tufted titmouse study over here using the sepia and the Payne's Gray. I'm going to try to keep this a quick, loose painting, nothing like super detailed, but this should be fun to watch, hopefully. His breast is fairly warm colored feathers, so we'll switch to the sepia. Keeping in mind where my lights and darks are. And we'll let that area dry. I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to pre-wet the area of his breast. His, her, I don't know what this bird is. Back to the cool here. Just add a little dark where the feathers break at the neck. All right, looking at his feet. They're pretty cool or neutral. We're going to keep them that way. Take the opportunity to just get some of these top knot feathers, let them blend in while it's wet. maybe dry my brush out and all right, let's strengthen this shadow here. I love birds because they're fairly easy to draw and paint in a very simple, expressive way. Doesn't take a lot of fussing. And yet, if you want to paint them that way, you can fuss all over the place. If you love bird paintings, check out an artist by the name of Carl Martins. If you like birds and like painting birds, he will inspire the heck out of you. And locate the eye, okay? Just above and behind the bill. And if I add any detail, I usually like it to be in the face. Do a little dry brushing here for shading. And you can just fuss with this until the cows come home. I'm going to take just a little bit of the sepia, just barely suggest where that branch is that it's perched on. Strengthen a couple shadows in his leg here. We're going to let that be it. Nice little expressive bird there in sepia and Payne's Gray. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you'll come over and check out my channel. I mean, you've got to for no other reason. Angela Fair is going to be over there, a guest on my show. So I look forward to that and look forward to seeing you over there. So see you next time.
Thank you, Steve, for so generously sharing what you've learned from watercolor. I'm excited to give both of these colors a try in a monochromatic way. I use Payne's Gray frequently. I don't use sepia, although I think I have a tube kicking around and I'm going to give it another try. And I find sometimes when you're not ready for one particular color at a certain time, pull it out again a few months or years down the road and you might find it's just the perfect addition to your palette. You know, sometimes we're just not ready for a certain color. Do check out my video on Steve's channel on the Mind of Watercolor. Come back and let me know what you thought of that or comment on his channel. It was lots of fun to do this channel swap. If you guys appreciated it and learned something, do comment. You know, if we get a good response, maybe we'll just have to try and do it again. Thank you.